Crazy Man's back. How y'all doing? I know my last video was probably pretty depressing. And I am. I'm anxious, I'm depressed. Fine. Effed up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional. I think it's what it is. Anyway, here's the deal. Here's the engine. Don't she pretty? This is the oil filter that'll have to be mounted to the bulkhead. The fuel filter I'm going to put back on this bulkhead where it came from. There's the raw water pump right there, the brass cover. An oil sump pump, so don't have to do anything crazy. But look at the size of these mounts. They're huge compared to the old ones. And the problem is, if you take a look at this compared to this, there's like maybe a 2-inch drop. So somehow the rear end of this engine has to settle down to line up with this, the V drive, and the V drive can't be moved because it's held in place by the drive shaft down here. Now, here's where the problem. This is a minor problem here. This piece of fiberglass here, I can cut this away. We don't think that this really is holding anything, and that once the engine mounts are bolted down, it's going to hold the engine together from wiggling this way. But if you can look way back in the back, the pan is sitting just a few inches above 4 bolts that will be maybe even riding on the engine when we start. Not a good thing. The other problem is here, this high-rise exhaust. If you can catch the angle here, this is where the board goes to the engine compartment. Now, there's no way that this is going to clear that I can see. The problem is you've got to have this high-rise in order to prevent water from sloshing back into the engine and destroying the engine, seawater and pressure on the cylinders. So we have to figure out a way to get this connection here. You might even be able to see it better at this angle. This stops. This is shooting right above the V drive, which cannot move. I'm going to cut this cross brace out today. That'll give them room to lower the end of the engine. But wow, what a problem here. We'll see. We'll see. I do feel a little bit more I feel less anxious, but repowering is a nightmare unless you're doing exactly the same engine, exactly the same configuration. This engine is almost in every dimension smaller than the old Perkins engine, but it's longer. And when it's longer, that means the oil pan sits further back and gets closer to the bottom of the hull. And those 4 bolts sticking up, for those of you that know, are not only where I have my grounding straps, but it's also the 4 bolts holding the strut, which holds the prop shaft. And without rebuilding the entire boat, it would be easier to get rid of the engine, which has been a huge investment, time, money, etc. And well, I tell you, if there's a low spot, here it is. Now, I keep telling myself, calm down, relax. I keep telling myself, like I said before, I keep telling myself the things that I would be telling somebody else. But anyway, so what I'm going to do today is cut this strut free. I'm taking extra vacation I don't want to take and all this other stuff that's just aggravating me. But if this fits, that's good. Here's the other problem. This spline, U-joint with the spline on the end, this spline is what fits into the end of the shaft, and you can see the misalignment even closer now. But if you take a look at this, I can move this up and down and somewhat side to side, and everybody's telling me that this is a self-adjusting, but I finally called the company, which is Walter's machine. This is an RV10, by the way, and they tell me, no, that ain't right. So we're gonna have to pull this out after we get the engine aligned, if we can, and send it to Walter to have them rebuild and rework. More money and time. So my problems are this high-rise exhaust, getting it to fit in the engine compartment, getting the engine to align with the V-drive, and then getting the V-drive rebuilt. I don't think any of the other systems, the raw water, the electrical, the oil, etc., the fuel, I don't think those will be a problem other than just get her done. So with that said, y'all take it easy. I feel better, but God, take care.